Hey guys, so it's officially Halloween month, which means it is the time for the spooky, the scary, and the skeletons, the creepy, the ooky, and altogether spooky, and generally just creepy, fun, Stranger Things-esque things. Which means it's time to read a whole load of spooky, scary books, and considering that there's a whole load of Halloween readathons this month, I'm not taking part in any of them, but I thought I would do a recommendation videos for Halloween reads that aren't particularly scary or thrillers, and they're not horrors, but they still fit in with the Halloween thing, so you can join in even if you don't like thrillers or horror like me. The first book I'm going to mention is Odd and True. Now this book is sort of like a mixture between the TV show Supernatural and Grimm, but with female characters, and it's two sisters who are fighting monsters, and their parents have been fighting monsters, and they just generally are very monster huntery people. And I'm only 5 chapters in so far, and I'm really enjoying myself. It is so good. Obviously, we are helmed by 2 powerful female characters, which is great. One of which was affected by polio as a child, so one of her legs is crippled. So we have a bit of disability representation in there as well, because sometimes she has to use a stick and a leg brace, and other times she uses a wheelchair. And while I'm only 5 chapters in, I can't speak that much about the representation or anything else, but so far I am really enjoying it, and I would definitely say to check it out if you want girl power and monster hunting this season. The second book is going to be Lock and Key, which is by Joe Hill. It is actually a graphic novel, so if you like graphic novels, this would be a really good series to get into, because as I've recently also read this one, it's all about a family whose father is murdered, and then they have to go to Lock House, if I remember rightly. It's called, no, Lovecraft House? No, they're in the city of Lovecraft. It's something like that. It's something to do with, like, Lock House and Lovecraftian. I can't quite remember because my memory is god-awful. But it's all about this family who end up there, and the little boy ends up walking through a door, and every time he walks through this door, he dies and becomes a ghost. And he also meets the girl in the well. And it's very creepy, very gory in places, very murdery, I guess you could say, and it's just generally a very creepy read. It completely creeped me out reading it just with 1 volume, and I cannot wait to see where this one goes. It's absolutely brilliant. Perfect for this season if you don't mind murder and blood and gore. If you're into those kind of things in your graphic novels, this is a really good one to try out. The third book I'm going to mention is Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff's Illuminate. Now personally, I had to stop reading this one because I'm dyslexic, and the way it was written was very confusing for my dyslexic brain, trying to like turn the page to read the circular stuff, and when it was all over the place with the AI and things, it just really confused me personally. So if you are dyslexic, I would say maybe check out and see if you can read this one first before you buy it, maybe in like a chapter thing on Amazon or something like that. But if you are fine with stuff like this, then definitely check out Illuminate. It's all about a psychotic AI robot and a killer virus trying to kill people on 3 separate ships, and it is really good. From what I read, it was really good. It's obviously a BookTube classic because everyone talks about the series and the Illuminator files. It's absolutely amazing, so compelling to read. The only reason why I stopped was because I couldn't read it because the way it was set out confused me entirely. But other than that, it was absolutely brilliant, and it is perfect for this Halloween season because it's dealing with zombie-esque characters, slightly killery robots, and general horrific violence. So if you like horrific violence as well in your sci-fi, and if you're a fan of Jay Kristoff, this is definitely one to go for. The fourth book I'm going to mention is The Mortal Instruments. Now this one is very much not technically a Halloween book because it's more like a YA romancy sort of not sci-fi, fantasy read, but at the same time it does deal with angels, demons and general monster hunting, which I think works quite well. There's also vampires in there and werewolves, and obviously there's demons, Nephilim, like crazy psychotic villains trying to kill people, and there's a lot of monsters and everything, quite sort of not scary moments, but sort of moments that gets the heart really pumping if you're reading it. So I reckon this would be a really good one to read around Halloween if you're not a horror fan, because while there is death and murder in it, it's not over the top and it's not overly I'm just going to leave that, quite frankly. That keeps on falling off, so I'm just going to leave that. Anyway, it's not over the top in terms of its murder or anything. It's sort of, yes, they died, but it's not done really gorily, so you don't have to worry that much about being triggered or scared that much while reading these books. The fifth book I'm going to mention is Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, which I'd say the main sort of group of characters aren't scary, but the monsters in this are terrifying. And not just the monsters in this series, also the pictures that go through this series, which inspired the entire series off, are very, very creepy. I was incredibly creeped out the whole way through reading this because of the pictures and because of the monsters hunting down Miss Peregrine's children and Jacob and things. They were very, very scary and very sort of creepy to read about and to look at. So that's why I'm counting this one in here. Number 6 will be Hansel and Gretel by Neil Gaiman. Now, the original story isn't really that creepy. It's not designed to be creepy or scary, but the way Neil Gaiman wrote it, it became very scary very quickly. The illustrations inside it are also really creepy and dark and mysterious and very worrying while reading, and I was completely taken by it and found it very creepy in places. So it's really good, quick, fun Halloween read. 7th, I'm going to say Stags by M.A. Bennett. Now this one is actually a thriller with a lot of murder and a bit of gore in there, but I wouldn't say it's like a hardcore thriller. It's a YA thriller, so it's not going to be as worrying as maybe an adult thriller would be. I can't quite tell. I haven't read thrillers because thrillers aren't really my thing, but I did really, really enjoy this one. It's really fast paced, really action based, and if you like sort of not murder mysteries but kind of soft thrillers, I'd say this is a really good one to read. It's a bit of murder in there, bit of mystery, quite a lot of peril, and if you like that kind of thing but in small doses, I'd say Stags is a really good one to go for. Number 8 is of course going to be Good Omens by Terry Pratchett and Neil Gaiman. I can't go an entire Halloween recommends video without mentioning this, because this is very much about the apocalypse. There's demons, there's angels, there's the Antichrist, there is a dog sent from hell, there's everything in there to do with the apocalypse. If you want an apocalypse book, this is a really good one to try, because it is all about the apocalypse and how an angel and a demon team up to try and save the world. And it is absolutely brilliant. It's hilarious. I wouldn't say this is scary whatsoever, despite the fact that it is Neil Gaiman, who sometimes does scary things. This is very much more of a humorous take on the apocalypse. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's absolutely brilliant, and it's just really, really great fun. So if you want to read something like that, definitely check out Good Omens, especially as the TV show's coming out soon, which is gonna be amazing. The trailer is awesome. I'm totally here for it. So excited. And quite frankly, October is a really good time to read this because it's just brilliant. My 9th recommendation is going to be City of Ghosts by Victoria Schwab. Now this book is V.E. Schwab's first middle grade novel, and it's all about Cassie who can see ghosts. And when she goes to Edinburgh, she is then surrounded by ghosts and has to run away from a ghost who tries to steal children and take their souls and take away their life force so she can live again. And it is wonderfully creepy. A fight in the end ends up in a graveyard. There's a whole load of ghosts going behind the veil, talk of how Cassie got these powers and all of this. It is absolutely brilliant, and it is perfect for a soft, spooky read for the season. It's very, very quick because it's a short middle grade novel, and I cannot recommend it enough because it is perfect for this time of season. And finally, my 10th recommendation is going to be Neil Gaiman's The Sandman. This is another graphic novel series, and it's a very, very famous graphic novel series, and I'd say it's not for the faint of heart. This is definitely more on the adult side of things compared to, say, The Mortal Instruments or anything like that. It's very, very adult in its content. There's serial killer conventions, there's talk of, really weird stuff, and it goes into quite a lot of deep detail and things. It's very, very weird, but it also deals with the Sandman himself, Dream, and his siblings, where you have Death, Desire, and a whole lot of others beginning with D, which I can't quite remember right now. but it's really, really fun. It also features Lucifer in places, who was the inspiration for the TV show Lucifer, which is great fun if you are a fan of that show and want to see his origins. It's very weird. I'm barely following the storyline, if I'm honest. I'm not quite sure if you're supposed to, like, know the exact storyline or if it's going somewhere. I'm not entirely sure, but it is absolutely genius. It's rather creepy, rather gory in places, and just very, very good, and I cannot recommend it enough for this time of year. But that is actually some of my Halloween recommendations. I wanted to go for things that weren't quite spooky and classically scary or thrillery, because I know quite a lot of people don't like that. I'm personally one of those people, so I hope that this sort of helped with Halloween reading. Maybe if you want to read something Halloweeny but don't want to go full out horror or thriller, I hope that helped. I also want to thank Rachel Marie for giving me this idea, because she did Wicked reads last week and I was really, really inspired by that, so thank you for giving me this idea. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do give me a thumbs up. Comment down below with some of your slightly spooky Halloweeny reads, because I'd love to add some more to my TBR. I'll also leave a link down below to all of my social media if you want to check it out. If you want to see any more of my videos, please click subscribe here, and over here will be the link to my previous video. But until next time, guys, bye!